What's up, everyone? The veto ceremony has taken place and the replacement nominee has been put up on the block. A big target is likely going home this week as both nominees are very well respected Big Brother players. Welcome to your live feed update. A couple of notices, guys, before we kick things off. We've hit 5,000 subscribers. Thank you so much. I appreciate the support massively. Every single 5,000, or every one of you out of that 5,000, I appreciate massively. Thank you so much for the continued support so far. Next stop, 10,000. We're going to get there, guys, so thank you so much for everyone's continued support. But if you haven't hit the subscribe button already, hit it, guys. Come on board and join us on this journey. And also you can hit the bell icon to be notified every single time a new upload goes live, which is pretty much every single day. Before we dive right into today's update, guys, I just want to point you guys to a video I did last night. If you haven't seen it already, it should pop up in the corner just about now, so if you want to click on the eye at the end of this video or whenever you want, it's talking about everything that's been happening within the house about Ian and his autism. I made a video just to sort of spread awareness and basically shed some light on the situation, and I'd really appreciate if you guys check that out because it's something that is obviously super important and needs to be talked about. So if you guys could check that out and really just share it on your social media pages, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, anything like that, I'd super appreciate it because I just really would love to spread the word and shed light on something that isn't quite right in the house right now. And I thought, I should discuss this in a video and talk about what's exactly happened. But guys, if you could check that out whenever you have some spare time, I'd really appreciate that. Okay, guys, so straight away we're going to jump into the live feed update and talk about the veto ceremony straight off the bat. Davon used the power of veto on Kevin, and Danny put Ian up as the replacement nominee. So it seems as though it's going to be a bit of Clash of the Titans on the block this week, with a winner and someone who is viewed as a strategic mastermind upon the block. So obviously someone big is going to be heading to the jury house to become the first member of the jury. But straight off the bat, guys, as I always do, I'm going to throw the question to you. Who do you think will be evicted this week? Do you think Ian or Tyler will be heading to jury? The immediate fallout of the veto ceremony included Cody sort of talking to a few people saying there is no way that Tyler will be heading home this week. He definitely thinks they have the votes to keep Tyler, and Ian will be heading to the jury house. But Ian and Tyler were talking quickly, and Ian was asking Tyler if he has a power. Tyler joked that he's going to resurrect the cloud app power from BB20 to save them both. But obviously we know that is not the case unless something is implemented into the game over the next few days. It's something I would personally love to see. I would actually love to see Ian, and yeah, I just think Ian's been playing such a good game, so for him to just be put up on the block like that and head out the door is it's not the most climatic ending. It's very anticlimactic, so it would be a shame to see him go out. But you know what? This is Big Brother, and we've got to let the game play out as it is. But saying that, obviously, I would think a power or something that would change the week slightly implemented into the game would be very nice. And especially we've seen this year in year out, all these powers getting thrown in, and it's an all-star season, and we haven't really had that many powers. It's just been some competitions and not really sort of one-off powers. And I do think that one-off powers spice up the game and make it a lot more fun. In All Stars 1 we had coup d'etat, but obviously we don't want power overload, so just maybe one or two here and there. I think everyone expected there to be one when Janelle and Kesa were on the block together, so we'll see if one is implemented at any point in the game this season. Nicole, being Ian's only ally in the game, or only tight ally, is obviously distraught at the fact that Ian has been put up on the block. She went up to the point to say that Ian's going to be heartbroken should he go on the block and then end up out the door, and it's likely going to happen, but things can change over a few days, so we're not putting all of our eggs in one basket yet. But obviously Nicole isn't very happy, and with Ian gone, that magnifies the target on her ×2 as the only winner left in the game. So it would be a good move for Nicole to keep Ian round, and also it's a tight ally for her. They've both been relaying information to one another, and it seems to be working for them. So Nicole is obviously going to try and work a few things over the next few days to see if she can keep Ian in. We'll see if she's got enough influence. I think a lot of people are just dead set on keeping Tyler in the game. We saw Memphis and Christmas get quite territorial in the garden the other day, saying that Danny can. I won't repeat what she said, but they basically did not like the way Danny was trying to push the fact that Tyler can go. So it's very interesting to see how it's going to play out. I think it's likely going to be all the votes, or nearly all the votes, in Tyler's favour. But we'll see if things can be swayed. Enzo went on to Tyler to say to him that Danny's HOH has been a total mess. The fact that she's nominated her best friend's best friend shows what kind of HOH she is, and believe that she is definitely all over the place, and they're realising that she is definitely allied with many people, because really in the game of Big Brother, you obviously want to keep the people in who aren't going to target you, and we know Ian wasn't going to target Danny. The fact that Danny is so close with Nicole Franzo gives her some sort of it gives her leeway with Ian, and although she's tight with Cody and and some of the... She could have put someone else up to ensure Tyler goes out the door. She could have put Enzo up. She could have put Memphis up. I still think Tyler would have been heading out the door. If anybody else had been put up on the block, or I think it would have been extremely likely anyway. I think Ian has she's totally just sealed Ian's fate there, even though she's been pushing to get Tyler out all week. But Tyler will be back with a vengeance if he stays this week. He will win HOH, and he will put Danny up on the block and try to get her out of the house. Davon and Kevin weigh out the pros and cons of keeping each nominee in the house. So obviously with Ian, they said getting rid of him would get rid of their snoop who goes around the house and gets the information and brings it back to them. And they say with Tyler, it loses the person who's going to win comps for them. I don't know what they were thinking there. Tyler is not working with Davon and Kevin. He is not targeting them, but he's not working with them. And when you're not working with someone, you are on their target list, whether it be at the top or even at the bottom. It doesn't add up, and I think the best option for them would be to keep Ian in the house, but I just don't think they've got the sway. And obviously a bit further in the day, we'll get to it shortly, it seems as though Davon and Kevin are actually leaning towards evicting Ian this week. The vibe in the house is totally misconstrued right now because David, Kevin and Davon have been discussing how they can gather the votes to get Ian out of the house this week, and on Danny's side of the house they are also trying to get Ian out apart from Nicole Franzel. So Danny's been saying that, you know, that side of the house with Davon, David and Kevin are going to be totally blindsided when Ian heads out the door, but they don't even know that they're also trying to get Ian out. So, you know, Davon, David and Kevin are obviously making the wrong move there at the fact that they're all this big voting block, and they're all just getting picked off one by one as a result. They're not trying to keep Ian around. It would benefit their games to do so and get rid of Tyler. I mean, you know, I've seen so many tweets on social media, on Twitter, and, you know, posts on Instagram, Facebook, etc. I've seen all things this week sort of saying, if Tyler is on the block, you are a fool not to get rid of him. Ian is so much easier to take out of the game than Tyler, in my opinion, and I think in the majority of people's opinions. So I think they are making the stupid move of keeping Tyler around because he's a great game player, and we know what Tyler can do. Tyler's been on the block several times, but he always manages to get out there and get it all the way to the end. And I'm sure this season will be no exception if he can plant a few seeds here and there. So I think they need to get their heads glued on straight and realise that they need to keep Ian in. David, Kevin, and Davon specifically need to keep Ian in, and try and bring a few people from the other side of the house over to their side, so they've got some numbers going into the next few weeks. Nicole tells Ian that she will campaign for him tomorrow, so we could see the start of a shift in the power and the dynamics. We don't know if Nicole can have any sway whatsoever, but if she can plant a few seeds in Danny's brain, obviously she is very, very tight with Danny. Danny has the sway with Cody. Cody has the sway with Enzo. It's like a chain reaction, but will Nicole be able to plant these seeds that are strong enough and will sprout fast and germinate very, very well? Because, you know, I'm not getting all plant there, guys, but you know what I mean? It's an anecdote, and I feel like the Big Brother game is full of anecdotes. And, you know, Big Brother, it's like Casey said in a video that he released the other day, you know, Big Brother is a microcosm of real life, and that's why there's so many anecdotes that you can add to the game, and that is definitely one. Can she plant the seeds to ensure that Ian can stay? I'd be very, very impressed if you can do so. If one winner can persuade the rest of the house to keep another winner in the game, that's a move that deserves a round of applause for me. But we'll see over the next few days if she can pull that off. She does have a few days until the eviction, so I would say it's more than plausible, but it's going to be a difficult task to do so. Nicole and Danny were discussing that they heard Ian saying earlier on in a conversation with them. Ian said everyone is going to be shaking their heads when they realise Tyler gets to the final two because they didn't evict him at this point, and Ian is so right. It's what I talked about earlier in the video. If they don't get Tyler out now, he's somehow going to make his way to the end, because this is Tyler Crispin we're talking about. Tyler, who is seen as one of the modern day strategic masterminds of Big Brother. He's up there with some of the greats, or he's viewed as one of the greats by many viewers, and they are making a fatal mistake by leaving him in the game right now. Towards the end of the evening, Nicole did start to slightly campaign towards Danny, and Danny seems slightly open towards the idea of keeping Ian in the game, which she realises the only way to do so is to persuade the likes of Memphis, and obviously that is going to be a very hard task because they brought up the notion that Memphis hates Ian, and it's going to be very hard for them to persuade him that he should stay in the game. And the idea of telling Memphis that Ian will be going full throttle to get Davon out of the house will be appealing to Memphis, so that could persuade him to keep him around, but I think Memphis is hell-bent on keeping Tyler because he just feels like he's going to help his game more so than Ian, which is sort of true, you know, if we put ourselves in Memphis' shoes. But Memphis, it just seems hell-bent on getting Ian out. So we'll see what can happen there. I mean, there's not much we can do about that. You know, there's not much that they can do about that. It's just, we'll see after how it plays out. But Nicole and Danny did say that Tyler will help them win things, whereas Ian will only be a vote for them. And I think the vote's much more important than someone who can help you win things, because the fact that Tyler will help them win things, Tyler's still going to try and get Danny out. So it's totally messed up in Danny's head there that she thinks that Tyler will help her out with the comp wins, because it's not going to happen. At least Ian will be on their side and giving them a vote. That is all of your game updates for today, folks. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I will quickly reiterate, please, please, please check out the video I made yesterday regarding Ian and the incidents that have been happening in the house. Regarding some of the house guests mocking his autism, I wanted to create a video to spread awareness and shed some light on the situation. And please, guys, share that on your social medias as well. I would really, really appreciate for you guys to help me spread the awareness. But thank you very much, guys, for watching. I really do appreciate the support. It's fantastic. You are all legends. Thank you so much. I will say as I usually do, guys, don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe. But until your next live feed update, I've been your host, Tom Vasey. Good night.